Hey guys, this video is going to be on how to tear down a 7.3 liter single shot fuel injector. This fuel injector is out of a 95 7.3 liter Power Stroke, obviously with a huge injection system. We already have the injector out of the truck. If you don't know how to pull the injector out of the truck, go ahead and go on YouTube. You can find other videos on that. This video is going to be strictly just tearing it down and looking at the components inside, and we're going to also be rebuilding one as well. So stick along for the video and you'll see that. Okay, so we have a rebuild kit, a tool and O-ring kit that came with this whole kit that we bought online. It's from Bitroot Diesel. They're gonna have all the components you need. If you could kind of see, we have it set up like this. It comes with all the O-rings you need for the oil side and the fuel side. We got two new springs that it comes with, and a new screw for the top plate up there for the solenoid. So it comes with all that, and what we're going to do is just go ahead and get started. Here's our injector. Got our hold down tool and the vise. It also comes with this tool as well. That's going to be to split the fuel and oil side of the fuel injector. So you're going to need that, and then you're going to need a T20 Torx. Usually in the kit it'll come with that, so all the tools in the kit will be there. I have this one. This is a pin right here to hold the injector body inside this little jig here. So we're going to go ahead and just insert our fuel injector into the jig, and then I like to orientate it towards me, the connector, that way I kind of just keep them all the same. I'm going to go ahead and set this camera up here. All right. Let's see if that's good there. All right, so we're going to just kind of keep the camera there, and you're going to watch as we go along. So we got our injector in there. What we're going to do is we're going to slide this pin into the side, and what it's going to do is it's going to actually hold the injector body still so it doesn't rotate, and it's going to slip into any one of these little slots here. There's two sides on this pin. There's more of a rounded taper edge, and then there's kind of a more flat edge. I like to stick the flat edge in, that way we get the most out of the tool. The pin that goes in there is going to engage the best. So we're going to kind of just rotate this, and you'll feel the little hold down pin on the side just kind of slide in. Okay, yep, slid in there. So first we're going to start by removing these 4 screws that hold the solenoid on the top. And it's obviously a good idea to have a nice clean shop rag to put all your parts on. We're just going to use this for now. This will work. Okay, so you want to take your T20 Torx bit, and then we're going to, let's back this up a little bit so there's a better view here on this. We're going to clip this up here. All right. Okay, so we got our 4 bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just gonna go ahead and remove those. You want to put a lot of down pressure on these. They're not terribly tight, but they some can be tighter than others depending on if they've been rebuilt or not. This is actually, this injector's never been rebuilt. It's original, so they're factory torque, but you still want to put some down pressure on it to make sure you don't strip the head out, because it'll be a pain in the butt to get that out once the head's stripped off. So push down. There we go. Got that one. And there's not really any specific pattern. You're just gonna kind of. This one right here that one right there is tough. Yeah, actually, these ones are actually pretty tough. You really want to push this tool in as far as you can to get good engagement. And this one's gonna be tough right here. I really want to push down this. Okay, oof, man, that one was tough. I could have used a larger screwdriver so I can get some more force on it. You might want to do that if you have a screw in there that's really tight, just so you can get some more torque on it. But so far the screw on this is good. Also, if you do mess the threads up on the screw, you can always go to Ford and get a couple new ones. Okay, so we got these all the way loose here. Now we're just going to kind of pay special attention to how everything comes off. The connector is facing me over here this way, so we're gonna just lift off the solenoid right now. Nothing's going to come flying out. It's kind of just preset in stone. And if you look, there's the 3 electrical connections right here, and those line up. Those go in the same direction as this plate here. So we want to make sure that when we install this back on, that those 3 electrical connections go in the same direction as this guy here. So we got that. Just gonna kind of put all the... Next we have this little separator plate. The other injectors that I took apart, this little cutout right here was actually always oriented this way. I don't really think it makes a bit of a difference, considering that the little slots in here are literally in the same direction, whether or not you have it this way or this way. So I'm not sure what the significance of this notch is, but for the sake of this, I want to put it back together exactly how it's supposed to. So we're going to install it to where this little cutout is facing away from the connector. That's how we're going to reinstall it. So for now, we're going to take this little plate off, put that in there. Next, you want to use the special tool that came with the kit. It's a weird star-shaped 4.5 millimeter or whatever that is. You really want to put a lot of down pressure on this guy. This one can strip very easily. If you want to, you can hold this square drive with a adjustable wrench. These are not very tight on there, so I was just holding them with my hand. One thing I want to do before I do that is I want to check the clearance under this plate just to see where we're at right now. And this should be able to slide under there smoothly under all 4 edges, and it's kind of snug. Yeah, this is kind of how it should fit on all 4 edges. This side right here is not too bad. It's kind of gets snug as you get to this corner. This corner doesn't go in at all. It's really tight. So we're probably gonna have to shim this injector. We're gonna have to shim the injector, this injector plate right here, and also shim the solenoid up. So yeah, that I'll make a note in there. We'll check it when we go to reinstall. But so yeah, we're gonna put a lot of down pressure on this. I'm gonna hold this little plate here with my fingers, push down, boom, and that just they're actually not very tight. When you go to reassemble the injectors, everything's pretty much hand tight inside here, maybe plus like 1/8 of a turn. So we got this little screw. This is going to get replaced. Our new kit comes with brand new ones, so we're just going to go ahead and throw that away for now. This little plate, pay attention to the orientation. The grooves are facing 90 degrees to the connector, but for now I'm just going to put that aside. Next, you have the 4 screws that hold down this plate here, and that is also a T20 Torx. So we're going to go ahead again, put a lot of down pressure on this thing. There's actually a spring under this that is going to kind of want to put some pressure on it to where this plate's going to want to start coming up as we loosen the last bolt. It's not going to shoot out or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and get these loose here, and this again, a lot of down pressure. Well, yeah, we're gonna need to get a little bit bigger screwdriver on this, because this one's pretty tight. This injector is definitely tighter than the other ones that we've been doing here. So I guess our injector is going to be just a little bit different depending on who assembled them. Some people have stronger arm torque than other. Alright, so we got our T20 Torx bit in here. And you want to make sure that your Torx bit is nice and straight. You don't want it to be rounded off, Okay, so now we can get a little bit more pressure with this guy here. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. We're just gonna kind of crack all 4 of them loose here. There we go. All right, so now the plate's gonna start pushing up because it's under a spring pressure. We're just gonna kind of loosen up all 4 of them like this. And it's not gonna shoot out or anything. It's kind of just gonna sit there on its own. It's not gonna, it doesn't have enough pressure to like pop it out off of the injector body. Get that screw right in there. So I'm just pushing down on this plate just to kind of take the tension off the screws. All right. All right, so that's good. All right, so then we're just gonna lift this right off of there. And again, there's nothing gonna pop out at you. So we got these 4 screws here. We're gonna set these off here. And we also have this little bushing in here that we're gonna press out. The particular tool I got from Bitroot Diesel, it came with all the tools you need to rebuild the injector, came with a little pin here that actually fits right in. We're gonna have to press this little bushing out. It presses in from the top, and it's not like a tight tolerance or anything. It's kind of just held in by an O-ring inside this body here. So we're gonna stick this inside here. We're just gonna go to our table, and then we're gonna kind of put a little bit of pressure right to the outside of the plate, and it's just gonna just pop right out like that. So it just popped right out. We'll put that tool away for later. So there's a little O-ring inside here. That's really the only thing that's holding pressure on this. So we're gonna go ahead and get our little pick, and we're gonna get this O-ring out of here, because that's gonna be replaced in our rebuild kit. It's gonna be in there. So you're just gonna take a little 90 pick. Be careful not to jab your finger, and you don't really want to scratch the injector body, or not the injector body, but the plate. You don't want to start putting nicks and gouges in it. So that just came right out of there. We're gonna put this in line. I like to keep everything on the sheet or on the cloth is how it came out, just to kind of keep everything in line, and that way I visually can kind of see that everything's there and all together. So the next piece is gonna come out is this little hold down, the injector hold down bracket. So that's coming off, and if you notice that it's got like, it's countersunk on this side, you kind of can't mess it up when you put it back together. It's got this little screw hole right here. It's only got one, and that always goes towards the connector side. So you don't want to put it on like that. You don't want the screw over here. You want it towards the connector side. It's gonna be sitting over here like that. So just kind of pay attention when you start taking stuff apart to kind of double check the orientation of everything, just to make sure that what you're doing is exactly how it should be, and compare it to maybe someone else's video, or compare it to the manual. Always consult that. Okay, so next part we're gonna do is pull this little spring out of here. There's a little plunger. So we got a little spring. This is gonna get replaced in the kit. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this. And then next we're gonna pull this little plunger out of here. And this is where it kind of gets oily, because now we've just kind of opened up the oil galley. So you're gonna start to see it leak out of here. We're just gonna put this little plunger down in a rag, and we're gonna grab a paper towel here, and we're just gonna kind of wipe up the excess that's spilling. And it leaks out of the orifices down here, so we're just gonna, it's not a whole lot, but it's enough to make a mess if you're doing 8 of them and not cleaning it up. All right, that's good enough. Okay, so after that, now it's time to separate the injector body. We're gonna go ahead and use this special tool right here. You can go either way. You can go this way or this way. It's not like keyed or notched or anything. And then another thing we want to pay attention to is on this injector body, we kind of see this little notch here, right? That's on the top half. We want to make sure that goes away from the connector when we're putting it back together. It's gonna be 180 degrees out, so that's one thing to pay attention to as well when you're taking it apart, just to make sure that your injector was done properly. Okay, and on our tool says 75 foot-pounds. That's the torque that it needs, the torque that the two halves need to be when we put it back together. So that's gonna go right on top of there. We're gonna need a cheater bar just to get some extra torque. A big thing you wanna make sure is that this pin is all the way in. You wanna just double check that. Make sure that the pin's in, because we're gonna be putting a lot of pressure on this body to separate it. So that pin's in, it's not moving, that's great. Okay, so we got that on. I'm using a handle from a jack. It just slips right onto my wrench. Now I'm gonna put some a little bit of downward pressure, and then just, it's all about leverage. Boom, broke the torque. That was pretty easy with that little cheater bar there. So now we're just gonna unscrew it all the way here. All right, so once you get it mostly loosened up, you'll be able to just kind of spin the rest off by hand. All right, and again, nothing's gonna pop out or anything, so just nice and easy. You want to make sure that this little spring and pin don't come out with it. So when you pull it out, just kind of wiggle it around, and the components will stay down inside the lower injector body. So once we have that, that's basically the oil side of the injector. There's this little, the intensifier piston is in here. We have to get that out. In order to get this out, we kind of got to tap it on the table, and it will kind of like work its way outside of the top half of the body. So you can see that it's kind of recessed in there. It's kind of down. We're just gonna do a couple taps on the table, you know, and now you can see it's coming out a little bit. It's flush, but it can't come out when I'm tapping on the table because obviously it's flat. So I'm gonna get a little socket, and I'm just gonna kind of put it right. You want a socket big enough to where that can kind of slide down into. So we're just gonna do that, hold it nice, and try to hold it nice and even. We're gonna do a few more taps on the table, and then that should pop out. Do it right here. So as you can see, that it has popped out for us, which is great. That method works pretty good. There's other ways to do it, but that works well for me. So there's your intensifier piston. Yeah, there's a little oil in there. That's that. And that just slides right up in there. And again, the only thing really putting pressure on this, holding that in, there's an O-ring inside the body. So that kind of holds that in place. So we're gonna dig that out right now. Put the intensifier piston there. All right, so we're gonna get our little pick, and we're gonna go way down inside the body in here. And a 90 pick works pretty good because you can grab it like this. Once you get it out of the groove, you can grab the O-ring out. Oops, camera here. Grab it out, you kind of hook it. And just pull it out. And that's the inside O-ring right there. And then there's no more O-rings on the inside. This part, you really want to make sure this gets cleaned up well. This is going to be where most of your debris is, any kind of dirty oil is going to be sitting in here, and it's going to kind of build up. You're going to see some debris in there. Just get that cleaned out really well. We're going to go ahead and take these O-rings off right now, just while it's there. I like to completely get all the O-rings off. Put it down on the table. There's one. And then you got 3 O-rings on here. You got this little snap ring on the bottom, and then you have the 2 rubber O-rings above it. Right there, we're just gonna take those off real quick. There's one. Oops. And then usually this O-ring this thing's pretty brittle, so sometimes when you're trying to get it off, it'll just actually snap. Just like that, it'll just kind of snap off. So don't worry if it does. There's gonna be a new O-ring in the kit to replace that. This little snap ring, kind of tricky. You just gotta hold the spring with one hand, and then kind of get your fingernail on the gap in here, and then kind of pry it open a little bit. And then once you're kind of gonna get half of it off. I just pushed outward, and it separated it, and then I just kind of pushed it. I'm just gonna work it all the way around here. just like that. Boom, and it slid off. And again, this is gonna get replaced, so we're just gonna go ahead and throw this in the trash. That's it for inside the top of the injector body. The O-ring in the middle is out where the intensifier piston goes into. All the O-rings are off on the outside, and we're gonna go ahead and set this aside for cleaning. So now this is where things get a little crazy inside here. There's a lot of components in the fuel side. We're just gonna go one at a time. So what I like to do is take this little piston out right here. I like to get this out, and the spring. Just get that out first. And this, the spring sits in there, and that goes right on top. So we're gonna put that aside. You can separate the fuel and oil side if you want, you don't have to. The next thing that we're gonna do now is, I'm actually gonna pull the injector out of the little, our little tool here, because I found that it's easier, instead of picking out one piece at a time, it's easier to just pull the whole fuel nozzle out just in one shot. It just makes it a lot easier to look at and take apart. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just pull this pin out, set that aside. We're gonna pull the whole injector nozzle out here. And now we just have the fuel side in here. What we're gonna do is we are going to push down on the wooden table. This is wood here, so you don't wanna put any metal or any hard surface, just something soft that's softer than this injector nozzle here. We're gonna push down, and then I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure on top so it doesn't come shooting out as an assembly. So I'm just gonna kind of push down on the body, push down, and now it's now you can kind of see that I've pushed all the components up. And what's gonna happen is this little copper crush gasket's gonna come off. That's actually what's holding this whole assembly down, is this little crush washer. So we're gonna take this is getting replaced. We're gonna throw that away. And then now I have this other little tool. It's got a hole in it in the center. It doesn't matter, it's not a special tool. I just grabbed, literally, it's just a tool out of my toolbox with a little hole in it that I can set the nozzle into, that'll kind of sit in there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to push up like this, and the whole assembly is gonna kind of come out. So I'm just going to set that like that, and I'm going to push this right here, hold that, and then now the whole assembly's out. And then, yeah, you know, if it drops, it's not really that big of a deal. Like if it drops on the table or whatever, you know, and kind of go, there's a lot of parts in here. That's why I like to just pull it out as an assembly. You can take it apart one by one, but I've done enough of these to just know that it's easier for me to pull the whole thing out. So now you have your fuel. This is the fuel side, the lower half of the injector. There's nothing on the inside as far as O-rings is concerned. They're only on the outside. So we got 3 O-rings we're gonna have to remove. But right now we're gonna focus on the actual the fuel side of it right now. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this apart piece by piece out on the table. It just makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna angle this. I'm gonna kind of angle that down there. Okay, let's make sure that we are in the right spot. Okay. Okay, so what we got is we got 2 pins right here that we're gonna pull out. 1, 2, they just come right out. So we're gonna set those down. I'm just gonna kind of put all the pins right here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and pull this off here. Okay, and then sometimes there's 2 more pins here. They like to stick inside this piece here. So we're just gonna go ahead and pull that off. Make sure that the pins don't just come flying out. They're gonna sit in there, so that's off. Next, we're gonna pull the other 2 pins out. They're the same size as the first ones that we pulled out. Right there, so we got those 2. Next, we got this little plate here. And you can tell the orientation of it because there's 2 wear marks in it. And even after you clean it, they'll still be on there, so you don't have to worry about it. You'll see it, it'll be obvious. So that top plate comes off. Then next we have this guy here. It's the plate that sits underneath. There's a little tiny ball bearing in there, and there's also a little there's a little like washer in there. We're gonna want to get that out in a second. Next, we got a spring that sits inside here. There's a pin that's inside the spring, so we're gonna take that out too. This spring right here is gonna get replaced. It's in our kit, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that away. And then next we have our little pin. It's gonna come out here. That was sitting inside the spring. And then we have this body, this little cylinder here. And when you pull this apart, it actually only goes in one way, so you don't have to worry too much about orientation. And you can see as I separated the two, the pin kind of stuck inside the upper half. You can kind of see it in there. Just make sure you don't drop it anywhere. Make sure you keep a count of it. So we're gonna set that there. Next is the little spacer here. That goes right on top of this, just like that. And again, it's pretty obvious how it came out because there's wear marks on it that you can't scrub off. Next, we're gonna get the little pin that came out that was on the other cylinder. So there's the other pin. We're gonna keep all of our pins together. We don't want to lose them. So then now you're left with the nozzle. There's a little piston that goes inside of this nozzle here, and you're just gonna kind of tip it upside down, and it's gonna fall right out. Boom. And then I'm gonna get the other little pin out of here. And now we got that laid out. This piece that we took out here, there's a little ball bearing in there that we're gonna replace. All it is, it's held in by this little snap ring, so we're just gonna get that off right now. Same thing as we did with the other snap ring, we're just gonna kind of hold it, kind of pry on it and push it up, and just kind of work our way around. So we're gonna kind of pry it up. I got it up, the lip there. I'm just gonna kind of work it around here. Work it all the way around. Okay, so now we got the little clip off. We're gonna save that. So now if you notice, there's the little ball bearing in there, and that just comes out, and we're gonna throw that away. And so there's nothing else inside here. That's it. And that's basically it. Now we're just gonna go ahead and start cleaning everything, and we'll get back to you with part 2 of the video for reassembly. Hey guys, back out in the garage today, or tonight I should say. Didn't get a chance to make a video of the injector installation. We got a little carried away with time, and we kind of got in a crunch, and I forgot to turn the camera on. So if you want to see a video of me rebuilding the injector, I can get my hands on a couple more, and we can go through the assembly process for the injector rebuild. I apologize, but if you want to see a video like that, please throw it in the comment section below, and I can get my hands on their set of injectors, and we can go through them again and kind of break down each part. I was kind of in a rush, so the video went by kind of fast. I do a lot of stuff like that. Try to do a lot of videos of taking things apart and kind of just showing you what's inside. You know, it kind of gives everyone an all-around picture of how things work. I think it's a good idea. So do a lot of work with small engines, and you know, me and my kid literally just finished this Yerf dog here. It was literally just a rust bucket when we first got it. We completely disassembled it and got carried away with that. But I rebuild a lot of things, and you know, I work on cars here and there. So if you want to see any videos for something specific, as long as it has an engine, I can go ahead and get on that and make a video, upload it, and get that out to you guys. So again, if you like these videos, like and subscribe. Comment down in the comment section below of what exactly you want to see. You know, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for visiting the Black Diamond Brothers channel. This is Randy. I'm out.